Applications are online only.
I don't have a computer or access to internet at home.
Well, then you can use the terminal at the top of the stairs here.
It's hard for me to walk up and down the stairs. Do you have a computer down here I can use?
Only on the second floor do we have public access. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, so how do I apply?
Carrie, you can go online and print her an application if you want to.
Here you go. I
Thank
didn't know
you.
we could do that.
Thank you.
As a job applicant, you have rights. Did you know that laws prevent employers from discriminating against individuals with disabilities? The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, is a federal law that protects people with disabilities in the context of employment and other areas. If you have a disability that substantially limits one or more major life activities, but you meet the requirements of a job, you are protected by the ADA. As with any job interview, you'll want to be prepared, professionally dressed, and on time. You'll want to be ready for the common questions asked on job interviews. Will your job interview be any different if you have a disability? Can the employer ask you questions about your disability? And are there questions you do not have to answer? Watch as Mary sits down for her first interview for a position as an accountant.
Hello, Mary. Thank you for coming in today.
Yes, thank you for making time for me.
So, Mary, if you could tell me a little bit about yourself, that would be so great.
Sure. My name is Mary Harrison.
The employer does not know that Mary has a disability, and she has decided not to share that information with the potential employer at this time. It is Mary's right and personal choice if she wants to disclose her disability. Let's continue watching to see examples of questions you may be asked.
Can you tell me about your educational background and your experience?
Yes, I took classes in cost accounting, financial management, and computer-based info systems.
And so, Mary, what's your health like? Is there any reason your health might keep you from doing your job?
Okay, the employer cannot ask any questions that would make the applicant reveal that she has a disability. Employers may ask about an applicant's non-medical qualifications and skills, such as the applicant's education, work history, and required certifications and licenses. This ensures that an employer makes a decision based upon an applicant's qualifications and not whether they have a disability. Here are some examples of other questions an employer is not allowed to ask. Do you have a disability? Have you been treated for any mental health problems? Have you ever seen a psychiatrist? Have you ever filed for workers' compensation? Do you have a heart condition? Are you on any medications? On the other hand, you should be prepared to answer questions directly related to your ability to perform the job. For instance, you may be asked, what education, skills, and training do you have that will help you succeed in this position? What certification and licenses do you have? What is your work history? They may even ask those dreaded interview questions like, what is your biggest weakness or what are your strengths? Let's see if this employer can ask a better question.
Have you had a chance to review the job requirements and feel you are able to do everything the job requires?
Yes, I can. I worked with my previous employer for 8 years as his accountant, doing the same kind of work.
That's a better question. Keep in mind that you should carefully review the job duties to make sure you are able to perform all the specific job functions. Even if you have a disability, you must be able to perform the essential functions of the job either with or without a reasonable accommodation. We'll talk about what a reasonable accommodation means in a bit.
It was good to meet you, Mary.
I appreciate your time. I look forward to working with you.
We're happy to say Mary got the job. Mary has a disability that limits her ability to walk up and down stairs or on an incline. When she arrived at her new job, she finds that she has to climb a flight of stairs to get to and from her office or to the office printer. So what does she do?
Hi, Mary. What can I do for you?
My workspace isn't working for me. I need some accommodations.
Okay. What accommodations are we talking about?
That probably wasn't the best way for Mary to request for a reasonable accommodation. However, if there is something about your workplace that is preventing you from performing your work duties because of your disability, you can ask your employer for a reasonable accommodation. A reasonable accommodation is a modification or an adjustment to a job or the work environment that will enable a qualified applicant or employee with a disability to participate in the application process or to perform the essential job functions. Some examples of reasonable accommodations are providing materials or instructions in alternate formats, like Braille or large print, modifying equipment or devices, like adjusting the height of a desk to accommodate a wheelchair or providing a computer screen reader, modifying work schedules, such as adjusting arrival or departure times or providing periodic breaks. You can request for an accommodation verbally or in writing, or even someone else might be able to make the request for you. Alternatively, an employer may ask you to fill out a form or submit the request in writing, but the employer cannot ignore the initial request. Really, you should ask for these changes as soon as you notice the problem and before your work performance suffers. Let's watch Mary as she makes the same request, but in an effective way.
I have a difficult time climbing up and down the stairs to my office. The filing cabinets and printers are downstairs, so it makes it really difficult for me to perform my job efficiently. If I had an office downstairs, it would really help me keep up with my duties. Do you think that would be possible?
So basically, you just want a ground floor office. The employees on the ground floor have been with me for years. They will be upset if I have to move one of them upstairs. And that one empty room I do have down there is used for storage. It's not even designed to be an office. Do you know how much that would cost me to build you your own office in that room? We are a small business. I've got 10 other people on the second floor who work just fine the way things are. And you want me to provide an office downstairs?
Well, that didn't go well. A common mistake employers make is to refuse an accommodation because it's too hard or may cost them. Reasonable accommodations are not nearly as costly as many employers fear. According to the Job Accommodation Network, JAN, a service from the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy, 57% of accommodations cost absolutely nothing to make, while the rest typically cost only $500. Additionally, most employers surveyed indicated that their company had benefited financially as a result of providing job accommodations. We'll give the employer a second try at answering.
Thank you for letting me know about this, Mary. I had no idea how much difficulty you were having with these stairs. You know, I'm not familiar with the type of accommodations we have available, but we definitely want to work with you. Let me talk to Human Resources and see what suggestions they have.
Okay.
And in the meantime, we'll get Jerry to help run papers back and forth for you. Does that sound okay?
Yes, thank you.
We'll get back with you within 48 hours to let you know what may be available. And thanks again for telling me about this.
It's been 2 days since Mary talked to her employer. Let's see how things are going.
Mary, thank you for coming in. I talked to the Human Resources and they had some good ideas. We've talked to Emily in the office by the filing cabinet. She's going to move up to your office and let you have hers. We're also going to get a small printer for your desk so you won't have to get up every time you need to print a report. Would that help you?
Oh, that would help me so much. Thank you.
In the meantime, could you help us with one more thing?
Yes, what can I do?
Human Resources requires medical documentations that you have a disability and showing your physical limitations. Would you bring that to me within the next week?
I would be happy to. I'll call my doctor today.
Remember, as a job seeker, job applicant, or employee, you have rights. Employers cannot discriminate against you because of your disability. The law applies to all private employers with 15 or more employees, in addition to all state and local government and federal employers. The employer has to make the decision to hire you based on whether you are qualified to perform the job duties. If something about your work environment is preventing you from doing your job because of your disability, you have the right to ask for reasonable accommodations. That means that you can ask for changes to your work environment that would help you to perform your job. Remember, if you don't need an accommodation, you do not have to disclose your disability. Mary was applying for an accounting position, but the ADA covers many other jobs, like a cashier, produce clerk, construction worker, dental hygienist, office specialist, bus driver, and many more jobs. If you are an individual with a disability and are employed or seeking employment on the Navajo Reservation, you are also protected under Navajo Nation law. A resolution of the Navajo Nation Council, Civil Rights of Individuals with Disabilities Act prohibits employers from discrimination based on disability. If you feel you have been discriminated against in employment on the basis of a disability, please contact the Native American Disability Law Center. We can explain your rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act and give you the resources you need to succeed at your work.